Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we're asking, should we add the price to our products and services online?
Okay,
so a bit of context on this one,
Yeah.
So we got this question sent through from through the website asking about this topic, that they, as a consumer, are getting really annoyed at the whole DM me for price or send me a messenger for the price. They just want to know how much something costs before they make their final decision. But they would like it with less clicks and with less ways of having to go about, So if you see an item for sale online, whether that be a service like a course or a product like, I don't know, let's just go with multivitamins. Would you want to see the price right there? Or would you want to have to DM the person and go through a whole conversation and a whole other explanation regarding the item that you're trying to buy? You're interested in buying this item. Bear that in mind.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? And it's weird how, for some reason, we expect to know and demand to know the prices of certain things in certain occasions. And when it comes to specific products or services, maybe online, you kind of expect to not know the price of something. So I think some of the problem I have when it comes to, and it was a very good point you made about all the extra clicks, is that people demand a message or an
instantly.
Email. Yeah. And I think if more people were able to free up their phone number, I think that would help.
Oh, so you'd rather have a phone call?
I would.
Interesting.
I personally would, if I was looking for a new product and the only way I could get a response is by messaging them, this is just me, I would probably move on to somebody I could actually speak to.
Yeah. It's all like, at the end of the day, it comes back to customer service. But for example, in our case, where we also sell websites and do, in your case, with the social media training, there isn't always a one package fits all price.
Nope.
So
it's all very bespoke.
Yes, exactly. So the bespoke, right? So we could start by saying prices start from, but that also might not be the right price. I mean, just because your prices might start from whatever doesn't mean that that person actually needs that whole package either.
No. So it really does very much depend on what kind of product or service you're looking for. I can absolutely guarantee you. But I think sometimes people want to have a certain cut-off time to their day. They want to finish at certain times. They've got other priorities. They've worked, maybe it's a part-time job they've got, or they've got a family. And that's why it's important for them to have the option to message or send an email. And I suppose having a phone available can be a little intrusive. But I mean, I've had people say, I don't want people calling me and trying to sell me stuff over the phone or any inappropriate calls. In 7.5 years of running my business, I've had just one. And all I did to say, I've just said, look, please remove me.
That's interesting because, I mean, it might be your location, but up here in the UK, I would get a phone call every other day telling me that I've been in a car accident, and they found my number through the website. I know they have.
Weird.
Yeah, I just know they have. But whenever you think about it, like you're saying, if you have a phone number there and they don't answer, say it's out of hours, it's after 5:00, it's, people stick to normal schedules, whatever normal is these days. But if they're sticking to a 9 to 5, say, but during that 9 to 5, they also now have, other things to do. Their part-time job, their homeschooling, they're looking after a family member.
Or Zooming. I mean, you could be in the middle of something else,
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's also why, though, that there are so many automated tools available. So if somebody sends you an email, you could have an automatic response going back saying, thanks for your interest. Here are 3 of the options that we sell. Or, thanks for your interest. Here's a link to get on my calendar to have a face-to-face conversation. And then it could be more face-to-face on a Zoom with the person. And that makes it more personal as well, rather than just over the phone, right? Or a chatbot on the website that has all the FAQs right there. But like you say, there could be a way, and we talked to Lisa Kelly about this a few episodes ago, about her app building service. And she now has what do you call it, an app estimator on her website. So that you click through and basically, you get an estimation, and that's the best way, to put it. It won't be, this will not be your price. This is an estimate of what it's going to cost you if you go for these options. But it gives her an idea before she talks to them, and it gives you an idea before you talk to her if it's going to even be in your budget. Because that's, at the end of the day, most people just want to know if they can afford it before they go any further and waste their own time or waste your time. So
we haven't really answered this yet, Phil. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I know. It's one of those depends. It depends.
I mean, price isn't everything these days, let's face it.
No.
Customer service is still really important. And you tend to get what you pay for. So
yes,
if you... The downside to that comment, though, is that any startups that are listening to this are like, well, we don't have the budget. We just don't have it. But you'd be surprised how many startup heroes are out there who will just sort of either waive fees completely or just slash it in half or less. But if you go and see their website and it's like, I don't know, €120 an hour or something like that, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Just give them a ring. You'd be surprised what people can pull out for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'd be really surprised.
No, and that's true. And I mean, because everybody started somewhere.
Yep.
So they always remember what it was like when they started. So they're not going to just shoot you down. They're not going to just turn around and go, no, you don't have the budget. There are some that will. Just be careful with that as well. There are some that I know that, we don't do that for less than this amount ever.
But that's the important thing. Shop around. But you'd be surprised how many people, because you can't pay it back. You have to pay it forward.
Yeah.
And, I've done it before, and I know you've done it before.
Oh, definitely.
And, depending on the circumstances and obviously how busy somebody is as well, you'd be surprised what people can do for you. So just pick up the phone, make a phone call. Emails, they can be ignored or go
into spam.
Yeah. And if you can't get hold of them, see, this is me. If you can't get hold of them by phone, I'm less inclined to follow up, because you're like, why don't they want to pass their phone number?
Well, okay. So there's also the issue of, well, it's not really an issue, but the fact that the world is smaller than it was pre-COVID, right? So the world has opened up and people aren't just buying local, although that's important to do so. But I mean, when it comes in terms of services and services that you and I offer, it's not just the local market that could be looking for you. So if you only have your phone number on the website, but somebody doesn't want to, have the international calls.
Or put it through WhatsApp.
Yes, well, we could talk about that another day. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, a lot of people, it's their personal number, not a different separate business number that they can turn off at the end of the day. So there's lots of things to consider. But what I think we're trying to get at is people want to get the information quickly in a way that they don't have to, click too many buttons, or, if they have to send you an email or write you a message asking about the stuff, at least have it pre-populated.
Amen.
Right? So all the automations and the chatbots and everything are really good to do that. Have it pre-populated of, I would like more information, and they just have to put their name.
I've got one other point, actually. Don't be put off that not everybody has a website, because not everybody does. Some people have put their business initially. Some people have put their business initially on maybe a Facebook or Instagram shop. It could be there. And so it's kind of a website in a website, if you like. So don't be put off by the fact that you can't find a certain business on a website. because not everybody's got the budget initially when they set up. So they set up the Facebook or Instagram shop, and then, as people give them business, they will eventually get a website, Esther.
And now they know where to come. But it is important to have the different, like I said, automations in place so that it makes it easier. The worst thing would be for you to turn around and say, send me a DM, and then they have to sit and write out this big long DM. I'm interested, I found you here in this group, or I saw your products or services here. So have something that they can just click, or have an FAQ section either through your chatbot on your website, so they get more of an idea. And if you're like Melanie and want people phoning you at all hours of the day and night.
But I don't. That's just it, though.
Phone Melanie. I'll put her phone number at the bottom of the.
But it's just not true, and I'm sure it does happen for some people, but it doesn't happen day or night. And you got the do not disturb function anyway, so you can put that on at a certain time.
True. No, just do what works for you, but just remember that your customers like things easy. Mm-hmm. And they like to be able to get all the information that they need in the touch of one button. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week for more Monday Morning Marketing.
Bye for now.